Rock and roll. Levels, levels.
Levels. Hey, last week I was in Las Vegas and I had to drive across the strip.
Oh, God, that must have been terrible. I was there 2 weeks ago and it was bad. Like the entire area is under construction for the F1 race.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was bad. I mean, my normal route was closed, so Apple Maps, right in the middle of driving, helpfully suggested that I turn right and made me go right down the strip in front of the Bellagio, and then suggested that I turn left onto Harmon, right by the new pit building and the temporary grandstands.
So hold on. If you did that, were you driving on the actual course?
Yeah, I was. I mean, it was really cool, right? I mean, there were barriers, the lighting, the fencing on both sides. Like,
The stands? Yeah.
yeah, I was like, I mean, this is cool. Like it was really kind of cool to be able to drive on an actual Formula One track.
That, oh my God. Okay, so did you try to go fast?
Okay, well, not really, because this was like 8:30 in the morning, so it was sort of during morning rush hour. So it was stop and go traffic for like 15 minutes. I mean, basically, I was either stopping or I just slowly rolled along the track.
I mean, you're still faster than Haas. Hi, toddlers. Welcome to Talking to Todd, weekly podcast with Dwayne Johnson and Todd Prims, where failure is always an option. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Todd.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Coming to you this week from Studio B, not Studio A.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Yeah. This last weekend, after 4 years of both of us working from home, we decided to switch offices. So Lisa's now in Studio A, and I'm now in Studio B. Um, Two things came up about that. Number one, she said, "You're going to have to tell everybody you're from Studio B," and I said, "Well, no. Now that I've moved, this is Studio A," and she said, "No, she got Studio A. This is Studio B." So I'm now coming to you from Studio B, which then made me realize the first time we had her as a guest, probably back in 2020, and it was cute because I said, "Oh, she's coming from Studio B." Had I been thinking clearly, again, if you go back to the Ames Tribune, this should have been like Studio G or Studio H to make it sound like this is a much bigger recording location than we have. But I don't know that I can change it now. So anyway, this week's from Studio B, as will, unless something goes horribly wrong. This is the new home of Talking to Todd. The undisclosed location is Studio B.
Well, at least it's not Studio 2.
Thanks, Eli.
Lisa made you move. She can't complain about that joke.
I mean, she didn't make me move, but
Make me. Okay.
all right. Here's the actual story. It just right. Lisa is usually cold a lot of the times, and I'm usually pretty warm, just the way that we run. Funny thing, the way the house is built, Studio B, which has been Lisa's office for the last 4 years, is always cold, and Studio A is always ridiculously hot.
Oh, this change should have happened months ago.
So there was discussion. Oh, it should have happened years ago. There was discussions about adding additional heating and cooling systems to make the house be more comfortable for us. And then Lisa said, or hear me out, we could just swap rooms.
She's so smart.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, yes, that was that. So it wasn't make as much as, we should probably just,
We should just
it
do
would,
that.
this is a win-win situation other than the incredibly heavy desk that she has that had to be disassembled and moved through two doorways and then reassembled. Other than that, win-win. Anyway,
Uh, should we jump into feedback, follow up, and updates?
yes, I believe so.
Toddler number 1.
Yep.
I gave you the Todd ought to know of 6 teams that share names.
Yes.
I laid it out. We're in the truck together. She reaches out and pauses the playback.
Okay.
Looks at me. That's it. That's all there. What's the catch? Like there's no catch. This is something Todd ought to know. But I can guarantee you that he won't. How difficult is this? I mean, come on. So then she sat there in the truck for 5 minutes on pause and couldn't do it either. It's kind of the point of the game.
What I'll tell you is if we left 5 minutes of me doing this, nope. If we did that for 5 minutes, even our most, actually at that point, I'm assuming at least Danny would be listening the entire time going, I know there's got to be a payoff for this somewhere.
She also, you talked about a Venn diagram between people watching the Apple
event. Yes.
event and Monday Night Football.
Yes.
Amy, that's a Venn diagram of 1. It's Todd. Todd is the only person in that overlap.
She may not be wrong, because while all of my tech podcasts were all talking about how it was so weird that Apple was having a Monday night, an event at night and Monday night, and this is weird, and the night before Halloween, and why did they do it at 8:00 Eastern? I mean, that's like, that's really late for the rest of the world. Maybe it has something to do with Japan, and I don't know. I mean, this whole thing seems weird. Not a single one of them, and I listen to a bunch of tech podcasts, not a single one of them goes, oh, and it conflicts with Monday Night Football. Never came up at once. What's that? What's that? Is that a thing? I don't know.
Oh.
When did that start? Anyway.
They play football on Monday nights? Not that kind of football.
Let's see. Nothing from Lisa.
Okay. We got some worst job feedback from our episode out of time edition where we talked about the worst jobs that we had.
Yes.
Danny spent a summer as an assistant custodian at the middle school in Prairie City, Iowa, scraping wax from floors and then re-waxing them at 4:30 a.m.
I will say there is probably significantly worse stuff you could be scraping out of a school during the summer than just the wax on the floor, but that doesn't sound good. No.
Let's see. You're 16 and you're working with a semi-retired 67-year-old lady who can't lift anything and smells like cat urine. It may not top to tasseling, but it's darn close. So Sarah reminded me her worst job was when she was working for an employer who wasn't keeping up with the payroll, would hand us our check, paid monthly, and then tell us to wait and not cash it until they said it was okay. And her husband, John, told me about this. And I said, you should call Larry, call my dad, and talk to Dad about it. And Dad says, what you do is you take that paycheck and you walk into the bank that it's drawn on and say, cash this. And they issued her cash, and then she walked the cash across town and deposited it in her bank, which worked great. And the deadbeat employer didn't stay in business after long. So that job was a total disaster. I remember when Sarah worked there. Oh my God, it was awful. And they didn't stay in business very long after that. So
that's weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Go figure.
You can do that to your employees for a little while. When you do that to the tax man, here's my tax payment, but please don't cash it.
Yeah, please don't cash this. Wait, what? Here's the thing. I have bills that I have to pay. I am one of those bills that you have to pay because I did the job. Anywho, let's see. Also from Danny Toddler 401k. Todd's complaining citizen voice is fantastic, but it also sounds like the nerd voice.
Yes.
Yep.
Pretty much for reasons. The difference, if I'm honest, it's the exact same voice. It is literally the exact same voice. The difference is with complaining citizen, it's just the voice. With the nerd voice, it's also pushing the bridge of the glasses up while you say, excuse me. Actually.
Actually.
That's it's the glasses are that's the only
glasses.
difference.
Yes, that's your yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Speaking of
actually.
I had one.
Yes.
Last week we talked about Beetlejuice.
Yes. And we also talked about how hard how difficult of a job it is to perform in musicals.
Yes, and 8 shows a week, right?
Yes, and how they might be even, better than athletes.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
When I went to see Beetlejuice, 3 of the leads were understudies on a Saturday night. And I went, load management?
Yeah. Luke doesn't do back-to-back performances. What?
Yeah, we gotta put in. We only play 3 nights a week. That's it. And even then, maybe I can't really do it. I don't know. Anyway, I thought maybe the Broadway tour was managing their load a little bit since it's NBA season.
Good. If you have a problem with it, talk to my agent. Who's your agent? James Harden. Oh, well, that's fine.
Oh, that tracks. A couple of notes here under follow up. What do you got here?
So last week we talked about how the state of California revoked Cruise, the robo-taxi company Cruise, their license to operate because...
All right. Again, are we talking about the ones people are having sex in or the ones that gather together and block traffic?
Again, yes.
Okay. Just as long as we're clear for anybody that missed last week's show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same taxis. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't tell you how important it is to understand that those are the exact same taxis. They're not different. There's no difference. You can't tell the difference until after you get in. Anyway, so the state of
plastic all over these seats. I don't get this. Okay, whatever.
So,
sorry.
So the state of California revoked Cruise's ability to operate in the state of California because they kept hitting people and ran into fire trucks and all sorts of stuff.
Right.
Anyway, 2 days later, Cruise, which I believe is backed by General Motors, announced that they were going to stop services nationwide. They did point out that this, quote, isn't related to any new on-road incidents, unquote. My thought would be, yeah, because all the old ones are still plenty. And then their posting on X says, the most important thing for us right now is to take a step back and rebuild public trust. Part of this involves taking a hard look inwards at how we do work at Cruise, even if it means doing things that are uncomfortable or difficult. Translation, apparently, not hitting pedestrians with your robotaxi is difficult, and they've decided to pause and start doing the work. Yeah. Let's see. Also in follow-up, Luis Rubiales from Spain has now received a 3-year ban. So FIFA has banned him for 3 years. The whole kissing the player after the World Cup and then doubling down and then trying to pull the entire Real Madrid and Barcelona out of the UEFA championship and blah blah blah. Anyway,
Right.
he's got a 3-year ban. Given the way that this is going, I don't know if he gets like time off for good behavior or whatever. But anyway, we're not going to have him to kick around for the next 3 years. We probably will. I'm just going to be honest. He's probably going to come back. And then the last one, this is more direct follow-up, and this is entitled "Why I Hate People on E-Bikes."
Hey.
Yeah. So this weekend I was I've got another half marathon coming up in a couple of weeks, so back to training. So this weekend I was doing a very long long for me. This is how Toddler 3187 just warms up. Anyway, so I was out for a multi-hour training run, and it wasn't this weekend, and it wasn't going great. I just never felt good the entire time. Never got into the the runner's high, or like it just kind of sucked, and it was just like I just got to get through it. Like an hour and 45 minutes into this thing, and I'm not done yet. 2 people go whizzing past me on e-bikes on the trail that I'm running. That's fine. There's a lot of e-bikes. It was a nice day. Everybody's out enjoying it or whatever. But after they go whizzing by, all of a sudden I get this just ridiculous smell, just like punches me in the face. The guy on the e-bike was smoking a cigar while not pedaling, just holding down the throttle and enjoying nature.
And
I got
smoking a cigar.
Uh-huh. Doctor says I need to get some exercise. Let's go hop on the e-bike. Put the cigar in. Don't pedal. This ought to clean my heart right up. And then I thought of you.
And then thank you. I drink old fashions when I ride. I don't smoke cigars.
That's an important point, Your Honor.
That's a distinction without a difference. Oh, why I hate people on e-bikes. Sweet Lord. Oh, we missed. Sorry. We had a missed title opportunity from last week as well. This came from Toddler -18. Missed show title: Punchlines Without Context. Yeah.
So I said to the guy, look.
It's a 35-year callback. Oh, do we have any? Do we have anything for Todd's Tech Corner, sponsored by the Taylor Center for Technology Policy? I know things got released this week that were scary fast.
Yeah. So Apple had an event last couple days ago. Good news. Last week you had mentioned how you bought this brand new computer, and then I said, "Hey, guess what? Apple did not release an update to the MacBook Air. So you still have the fastest MacBook Air that they make. You're fine. They released the new MacBook Pros. They got rid of the old 13-inch MacBook Pro and jacked up the price. And anyway, and they also, after 2.5 years of waiting, updated the iMac, which hadn't been updated since April of 2021. So, congratulations, you did it. Yes.
Is there going to be a new piece of hardware coming to Studio B?
That's been under discussion for the last couple of days here. The way we're leaning right now is probably not. I'm sitting in front of a 9-year-old iMac, but it is a 27-inch screen. The new iMacs only come in 24-inch screens. So
that is a little different in terms of real estate.
Yeah. And it's been 9 years since I bought an iMac, and what I can say is my vision hasn't gotten appreciably better during that time. So smaller monitor real estate may not be ideal. Where I also have an M1 MacBook Air that would be perfectly fine if I could find a monitor to put with it and then just use it as a dock. However, there is basically only one monitor that works with it that looks like an Apple monitor, and Apple sells it, and it's a $1,600 monitor. So I don't know that I want that either. So anyway, Apple doesn't make what I want to buy right now. So this is problematic for me. Anyway, who knows? Yeah, so just real quick, like if anybody's going, wait, the guy who hosts the technical corner, who's a Mac guy, doesn't know which Mac to buy right now. What chance do any of the rest of us have? Yes.
Here's the thing. You really can't get hurt purchasing any of them.
Anything from the Macs?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Lisa's comment to me was, quote, would you think about letting your standards down a little bit to buy something reasonable? And being a Mac guy, I said, well, actually, it's not really letting my standards down. It's mostly, I've been kind of accustomed to a certain lifestyle.
Actually,
they're all good computers. I will say there was also a hope that as Apple is killing off Lightning, that the new keyboards, mice, and trackpads that are coming with these new computers would all switch over to USB-C finally. And no, if you buy a brand new iMac in 2023, at the end of 2023, you will get a Lightning keyboard, a Lightning mouse, and a Lightning trackpad. So if you keep those devices like I did for 9 going on 10 years, don't get rid of all your Lightning cables just yet. As a matter of fact, hang on to a couple of those extra because it's going to be a while.
I was going to play this next little piece of audio.
Yes.
Realizing that it applies both to the next segment and your new iMac. That's right. That sound means it's not time for Todd to get a new iMac. And it's time for America's favorite game. Dwayne, guess a number. Okay, hit me.
Okay. So in the cold open, we talked about the Formula One race coming to Las Vegas that will be held Saturday night, the 17th or 18th. That race is starting at 10 p.m. on a Saturday night in Las Vegas. Not sure that's a good idea. By the way, if you're in Las Vegas on the Thursday or Friday night before, directly before, practice 2 and qualifying start at midnight local time. So if you're in a hotel anywhere near the strip, enjoy quali, and no sleep. However,
nothing really starts in Vegas until 10 o'clock anyway.
You know what? That's true. On the other hand, who was the NFL coach that said nothing good happens after 1 a.m.?
I believe that was my father.
This alarm clock is going to go off at 1 a.m. It better not go off. Okay. So, Las Vegas, we've talked a little bit about how F1 is charging restaurants ridiculous amounts of money. Yeah. Everybody's going after a cash grab. The minimum ticket price to sit in a grandstand is $1,500. Everybody's is just doing a cash grab. It came out today, as we record, that the Taxi Cab Authority Board has instituted a temporary surcharge that will be going into effect Wednesday before the race and conclude Tuesday after the race. Now, this is not officially being called this. However, the unofficial title of this is And this was the justification. Well, there's two justifications. Justification number one, this is a, quote, European surcharge, unquote, because it is thought that Europeans don't tip. So there's going to have to be a small surcharge added to every taxi meter in the metro Las Vegas area to make up for the lack of all the Europeans who will be in town who aren't tipping. The other justification is that they want to make sure they have enough taxi cab drivers out to meet all of the needs. So they need a little surcharge. You need a little surge pricing to convince people to come out.
Hey, how about a little something for the effort?
Yeah. It's in the afterlife. So I got that going for me. Okay. They're during the race. So I'm gonna throw out a couple of numbers, and then I'm gonna have you decide. You're a hospitality expert. You have been. How many events have you done in Las Vegas? Massive events, largest trade show in the Western Hemisphere. Have you done more than 50 events in Las Vegas?
Oh, more than 25.
Okay. All right. So, and getting people around. Okay. So they also have some flat fare zones that they're instituting as part of this. So if you go from Sunset North up to Tropicana without the surcharge, that is $22 flat fare. If you go in zone 2 from Tropicana north to Flamingo, which doesn't seem to be all that, that's not that far.
It's not. It's one light.
That is $26.
And 42 minutes.
Unless you're in a Haas and then DNF. And if you go from Flamingo up to the Strat,
that's a hike.
That is a $30 fare. So it's $22, $26, $30 flat fare. Okay. The surcharge will be applied to the flat fares. It's the exact same surcharge, and it will also be added to any metered trip that starts or ends anywhere inside of these zones. Whether you have anything to do with Formula One or not, if you're just trying to, if you start or end within basically the strip area, the meter, they will hit a button and it will add a surcharge onto every single ride. So Dwayne, the number I would like you to come up with, it's a flat surcharge. How much is the European surcharge being applied to make up for the fact that Europeans, quote unquote, don't tip?
So when I was there a couple of weeks ago,
yeah,
I was pleased to learn that a taxi cab from the airport to the strip, because of all of the construction and everything, was a flat fare of $26.
That's pretty good. That does make sense because of all the construction, because it's really nobody's fault.
It's exactly right. So it's flat fare of $26.
Oh, so okay. That's okay.
Right. So I'm going to say $26
as an added surcharge.
As an added surcharge.
Okay, you went over slightly.
Okay. Because until I decided to make that funny and say that was the same, my guess was going to be $18.
Okay, you know what? You're closer on that. You're still slightly over.
Still high? Okay.
They are adding a $15 surcharge.
Still ridiculous.
To every taxi fare.
Does that mean I don't have to tip?
Good point. That's an excellent question. Or do you have to, here's the question, do you have to tip on the fare and the surcharge?
Which people will do.
Yes.
Because they're drunk and they won't be paying attention. Fine, 15%, bang, whatever, fine.
So, just so that we're clear, that small surcharge in zone 1, which is a $22 flat fare, That is nearly a 70% surcharge on that.
Thank you, sir. May I have another charge? Wow.
The industry representatives testified that during the board meeting that 100% of the fee would go to lessees and the fee for employee drivers would be incorporated into the meter commission payout rates somehow. So the drivers aren't even getting the full 15% or $15. The person who owns the cab is getting the money. The driver will get some portion of said surcharge.
What's the part that goes between the engine and the wheel and the wheels? What's that thing called? What's it? The shaft. That's what that is. That's what the drivers are getting.
Yeah. The only thing that would make this even better is if the robotaxi company could come in. Oh, wait, they've stopped operation. Yep. So there you go. Everybody who is Las Vegas has opened its arms wide for everybody to come in. You know what? You should just get to the airport, take your credit card, just turn it over and get on a plane and get the hell out of town. It will be cheaper than watching the Formula One race.
They opened their arms wide so they can scoop up all the cash.
Yes. By the way, I am going to go. You had said 18. I was really thinking you were going to go like $8 or $5 because, quite frankly, that's what the guess should be because that's what it should be to begin with.
Yes, right.
Yeah. So the fact that you got 18, you give yourself a bell.
Thank you. Oh, how about the Scott Frost Memorial Idiot of the Week?
Yeah. So World Series is going on as we speak, although it might be winding down as we speak. There is... Oh, nope. And the World Series is over as we speak. Oh, sorry. Hashtag spoiler alert. For the World Series, the first two games were at Globe Life Field, which, of course, Dwayne, where is Globe Life Field?
Is that the Bank One ballpark?
No.
Okay, so then that's the new Texas Rangers Stadium.
There you go.
Thank you.
Arlington. Yes.
I had a 50-50 chance.
Yes.
It's not the ballpark in Arlington.
That's across the street, and they still have it.
Yes.
They haven't torn it down. They're waiting to use it.
That's the one that I've sat in the top row of.
Yes, and that's the one that Lisa and I sat in the front row of. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, they decided, hey, you know what? They decided, see what Las Vegas is doing? We need to get in on that. We're hosting World Series games. You got to make money while the making is good. By the way, this was almost the Dwayne Guesson number. And then anyway. So they have launched some special meals, including they are selling where did it go? They're selling, or they sold, for 3 strikes lobster roll meal. Okay. You walk up, you go, I want that 3 strikes lobster roll meal. Here's what that includes. It includes a 2-foot-long sandwich. It's a 2-foot-long lobster roll topped with beef tenderloin on a red bun. Okay. It also comes with a 2-foot-long loaded hot dog called a broomstick. So now we're at 4 feet of sandwich. By the way, feet is how you normally measure food in the United States. And a 2-foot-long loaded broomstick burger, which is a 2-foot-long beef patty with chili, cheese, jalapenos, and onion rings.
6 feet of sandwich for those keeping track.
Yes. Now, nobody in their right mind is going to buy this. So the marketing folks have to think of a way of getting people to want to buy this. So, by the way, there's a new feature in all the Mac and OS things when you when you do. Oh, I'm not on the new. This is my old iMac. I'm not on the new one. You are. Yeah. So if you make a heart, it's supposed to do that. Thumbs up, and there's some. Oh, there we go.
Here we go.
I have to buy the new iMac now. Anyway, sorry.
No. We didn't finish. So when I make a gesture, it shows a little thumbs up next to my face. Or when I made the heart emoji,
hearts came out on Dwayne's video screen.
On my video screen. Oh my God. It is. Oh.
Yeah. Sorry. There are people complaining because this was a new feature in on your phone, on your iPad, and on all the new stuff, and apparently they weren't telling people about it. And Apple does it, but it goes into the video of any video source, so Zoom, WebEx, whatever. Like the applications don't have to do anything. And apparently, people started having there's something you can do where confetti comes down and thumbs up and smiles or whatever. Anyway. Apparently that started coming out on like online therapy sessions, and it wasn't appropriate. Anyway, Apple's working on it. They're not, but they say they are.
How do I make confetti come down? That'd be cool.
I'll work on that. Okay, so the marketing folks said, who in the hell is going to buy 6 feet of sandwiches?
Sorry, folks. Go ahead. Yes, 6 feet of sandwiches. Where were we? Oh my God. Yes. Yeah.
Because what it should be called, instead of 3 strikes lobster roll, it should be called 6 feet of heart attack, right? Yeah. And by the way, the loaded broomstick can be bought for $29.99, and the loaded broomstick burger can be bought for $36.99 normally. So they said, how are we going to move some product? So they did 2 things. One, they only sell 10 of these per game. They're limited. You got to get her early if you want a chance to buy 6 feet of meat. Okay. Number
show title.
Number 2, they set the price. This isn't doing us a number, but I know people like to play along. So I want everybody right now, just as you're listening, think, how much would you pay for this limited edition trio of 2-foot-long sandwiches? Get a number in your mind. Go ahead, say it out loud. Everybody just say it out loud. Go ahead.
$89.95?
Close. $250.
Close. No, you're not. The first one is $35. The second one is $25, which is $55 to add on the third one. It's an extra $200.
I mean, it is lobster. Well, they say it's lobster. This could be like Subway crab, right? Whatever, who knows what that is. Anyway, and they sold out. Because people, as soon as they heard it was limited and it was $250, took it as a challenge. By the way, there's no t-shirt. You just buy it and eat it. And the challenge is then coming home and explaining to your wife why you dropped $250. Do you get a beer with that? Oh, no. The beer was extra.
But there's enough food there to feed a family of 7. And for the record, $250 is less than you would normally spend if you went to the concession stand.
Good point. You know what? Maybe it should be the Super Saver. Anyway, Texas Rangers, what are you doing? And more importantly, because I think they must have only hosted 2 games. For the 20 people that encouraged them, they're the idiots, because they're other places are going to look at that and go, oh, we can top that. No, don't top that. Don't stop it. You know what? At least it didn't. You know what? The worst part could have been if they would have added a $15 surcharge for delivery. But I picked it up at the counter. Somebody had to get it from the grill to the counter. Delivery surcharge.
There are times when I pay more to move my freight from the dock 100 yards to my booth than I pay to move it across the country from the warehouse to the dock.
Yeah.
They're going to get theirs.
Yeah, but you know what you're paying for? Load management.
Not wrong.
How about you? Who'd you bring?
So a week ago, I'm in San Diego doing this booth, and I had salespeople that needed to do demos in the booth, right?
Yeah.
And because of our restrictions on our laptops,
Yes.
the plan was bring your own laptop. I will provide a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse. All you got to do is show up with your laptop to do your demo.
And a radio. Sorry. Inside joke. Text chain. Anyway. Joke for one person, and he liked it.
Yes, he did. Show up with your laptop. I'll have the monitor. All I need is the monitors, right? So I had two TVs we had 4 demo stations. I had 2 55-inch monitors, and I was renting the 27-inch monitors that I was going to set on the desk, right? I didn't want to have to ship them. I don't own any of them. I don't want them when we're done. I'm just going to rent them from the local technology
place you rent monitors from.
Exactly, which I've got. I've got a couple of them actually. So we
any of them near the undisclosed location? Anyway, no, never mind.
Not those kinds of monitors.
Got it.
Though for what I paid, you could definitely buy one. Now that I think about it, maybe I'm the idiot. Put the order in. The boxes show up. I open them. And what these idiots have sent me is Microsoft Surface machines.
Okay.
They are 27-inch monitors.
Yes.
As a Microsoft Surface machine.
Yeah.
And the guy says, "Oh, well, you can just plug your laptop into them." And I start looking at the back of them. I don't think this is going to work. Oh, yeah, there's a mini video out. And I said, "It's a what?" Say that again slowly. Mini video. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a problem. To their credit, within 2 hours, I had 2 brand new 27-inch monitors sitting in my booth for me to hook up for people to use. I mean, the recovery was fantastic. The initial delivery is why they get my Idiot of the Week award.
I'm with you, but what I'm going to say, and this will become all much more apparent here when we get to what I learned this week. I'm just going to tell you, understanding which way things go, which way the arrow goes, is it in, is it out? It's really, people underestimate how difficult it is to understand which way arrows go. So if I call them an idiot, this becomes problematic for me. So I'm going to defend them for now. Because understanding direction is a lot harder than it would seem to be. Anyway, more on that later.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you want to do a travel story?
Yeah, just a couple of things that I didn't cover last week that were still in the notebook from the England trip. You were talking about how you didn't pack the snowball mic on the previous trip because you were trying to follow Todd and Lisa's advice and only travel with carry-on for your trip. So this last trip was a little it was a little challenging because all we took was carry-ons and we had like a backpack or a little like a computer bag. And we were gone, I think from the time 11. No, we were gone more than 2 weeks. We were gone 16 days, carry on only, backpack, making things a little bit more difficult was okay, that you can do. Number one, I was running a half marathon, which meant I need to bring my running shoes. So that's an extra pair of shoes that I wouldn't bring. By the way, that's what kills your carry-ons. Shoes. Shoes
Uh-huh.
kill the carry-ons.
Yes,
So I
they
had to
do.
bring I had to bring the pair of running shoes and had to bring my running gear. Luckily, it was not going to be cold or rainy, so the running gear took up very little space, right? Shirt, shorts, socks, But in addition, 3 days after I ran the half marathon, we were up in the Lake District, and Lisa's cousin took me on a hike up one of the mountains. When I was there 18 months ago, we may have talked about, we did like an 8-mile hike with about 2,500 feet of elevation gain. And then I couldn't feel my feet for a week afterwards because I had rented hiking boots. So this time we knew we were going to go do that. And I wanted to feel my feet afterwards. So I didn't want to rent hiking boots. So in my carry-on, not only did I bring hiking gear, including hiking pants and some hiking shirt and some additional hiking gear, in my carry-on, I also brought my hiking boots. So half my suitcase was running shoes and hiking boots and running gear and hiking gear. The other 16 days of the trip were the other half of the suitcase. Now, was this a good idea? Maybe. What I will tell you is, because I did the last one, which was 8 miles and 2,500, he goes, hey, now that I know that you can do that, let's do something a little bit more. So we did about a 10-mile hike with about 3,000 feet of elevation gain 3 days after running the half marathon. The good news is I could feel my feet the entire time. The bad news is I could feel my feet the entire every
step.
single step up and every single step came right through those hiking boots. Anyway, so that was carry on only. And then the other thing,
So following up on that, actually,
yeah.
Do you know how I managed to do carry on only for just 11 days? 2/3 of the way through my trip, I took all of my dirty clothes, I shoved them into a FedEx box, and I shipped them home. And then I went to H&M and I bought 2 new shirts.
I will say, I hope that you wrote on the box, do not open, because otherwise Amy goes, oh, FedEx box for me. Opens it. What the hell? Oh my God.
That's exactly what happened. She's like, oh, hey, I wonder what this is.
That's the other way to handle it. You know what? There's multiple strategies.
Worked for me.
The other thing that we found very funny was, so I did the run on Sunday. On Saturday, we get an email from the race organizers. Again, 16,000 people are doing this. So there's a lot of people, but they had to communicate. And it was, listen, everybody, it is unseasonably warm. It is going to be very hot tomorrow during the run. And they had strategies of what you needed to do. You need to think about hydration. You need to drink before the run. Make sure they have stops at 3, 6, 9, and 12 miles to get water. They actually recommended you should probably bring water with you. Like we cannot overstate how important hydration is. You need to bring sunscreen. If you're not feeling well, pull off the course. Like you need to understand that this is going to be a very, very hot run. Please take care of yourself. We have medics stationed everywhere. Please follow this advice. Temperature at the start was 68 degrees, and when I finished, it was 70 degrees.
Aw, how cute.
Now, that is unseasonably warm for London for mid-October. That is a cold run in the undisclosed location where I have to put on layers.
Right.
Anyway, so we get this and I look at it and I go, I guess I'm supposed to hydrate. Lisa's like, well, luckily you're acclimated to the new London weather. So anyway, thank you for the warning. I appreciate it, Royal Parks half. That was good. I stayed hydrated and didn't need the medics. So
Good for you. And you
yeah,
finished.
and I finished, and I, you know,
Which is barely a challenge for you. Did you set a PR? No, because you weren't running downhill.
I wasn't running downhill. So yeah, I may have put that bar too far out. Yeah. So yes, no, this was more of a regular. This was a regular time. But really, it wasn't about setting a personal record. It was more about enjoying the architecture and the history surrounding. Like, why run so fast when you're running through these? Anyway, does that sound plausible?
Yes, sure.
That's the story I'm going with.
What are you watching?
Couple things. The Great British Baking Show or the Great British Bake Off is on Netflix. That has come back. It used to be like 6 weeks behind, then 1 week behind. I think it's almost releasing almost day and date in England or within 24 hours. Once again, if nobody has watched this, whether you care about baking or not, this is just the nicest. This is just the nicest competition show. Everybody just wants everybody to do well. It's very nice. When somebody finishes early, if another baker needs help, what can I do for you? What can I put in the oven? How can I help? It's just nice. That's on Netflix. Also on Netflix, while we were in England, we watched the David Beckham documentary, Beckham, 4-part series on Netflix. It was made with the full cooperation of David Beckham, Victoria Beckham, and his parents and his friends. So it is very interesting, and it gives you an interesting perspective on a lot of things that you thought you knew. It gives you their perspective. Does it contain the entire truth? Probably not.
It sounds like a Lakers documentary.
But I would say it is very interesting, and having their perspective, if as long as you know that they're not exactly being challenged on any of this stuff, this is them telling their story, as long as you're there. And it does change a little bit. There is a lot of thought about, oh, was he dedicated enough for football or whatever? And then you look at this and you're like, actually, he's worth a hell of a lot of money now. Yes, during his football career, he did things to make sure he had money after his football career. And while people gave him crap for that, actually make the money while you can. um that's actually probably pretty smart. And then the last thing, and this came out a couple of months ago, and we just started watching it after we got back. We're only a couple of episodes in. We're watching Only Murders in the Building season 3 on Hulu, and I think we're through episode 2 at this point. So
I think that's about where we were, and it's kind of fallen off of our radar. Amy may still be watching it. I'm never home.
yeah. So what are you watching?
I'm watching The Calendar.
Oh, is that on Netflix, Max?
My
Tubi?
computer monitor.
Oh,
Tubi. Tubi.
to be described later.
To be described later. Actually, we can just roll from the.
Sure.
So I'm watching The Calendar because Monday will be my last day at Wells Fargo, and I have accepted a new position at a new company, managing their trade shows and sponsorships. So I am in Austin right now on what is my last trip for Wells. I am jumping off the stagecoach.
Congratulations.
So that's what I
mean,
learned this week. What I learned this week is I'm jumping off the stagecoach.
I was congratulating you right until you said I'm jumping off the stagecoach, and I'm like, like that doesn't sound. That doesn't.
You gotta tuck and roll and then pop up
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
wave.
As the stagecoach keeps going off into the sunset.
Right. And here's the thing. I will say I wish absolutely everyone nothing but the best. Now, some of them I wish more of the best than others.
Of course.
But it's been a fantastic 11 years. I have enjoyed a whole lot of it. I have learned a ton. I've made some great friends. But it's time for another challenge, and I am excited to go and do that. So less travel, a little more responsibility, and going to work for a boss that I've worked for before, and she's fantastic. So I'm excited about that. So how about you? What'd you learn this week?
So right before we went on vacation, I had made some changes. So my iMac is kind of my home server. I've got external drives hooked to it where I store a bunch of stuff that doesn't fit anywhere else, archive stuff or whatever. I'd made a bunch of changes and I thought, before we leave, I have an 8 terabyte hard drive that has a bunch of stuff on it, and then I have a 6 terabyte drive that is the mirror image of that. That's the backup of that one, and the 8 terabyte drive is also, parts of it are also backed up to a cloud service. So I got backups. I got on site. I follow all the proper stuff. And but by the way, somebody's like, "Hey, how do you back up an 8 terabyte drive to a 6 terabyte drive?" Well,
Yeah.
there are things on the 8 that I don't need to back up. So there are just pieces that I don't care if they go away. I can recreate them. So it all works.
Okay.
And I thought, man, it's been a long time since I backed up the prime data, the prime hard drive to the secondary hard drive, the backup one, and you
That
never
doesn't sound
know.
like you, but okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was like, I wonder how long it's been. I can't remember the last time I did it, and I don't have it scripted because I have a cloud backup. I'm always constantly with a cloud backup. This is just like a secondary thing, but I'm like, you know what? I should back this up before, just in case something weird, because I'm going to shut everything down. I get back, the main hard drive may not come back up. I should do this. And I was doing this like the day before we left. It was just on my list of things to do. So I open up my backup program, look at all of it, go, yep, prime backup, yep, okay, and backup this, don't back up this. I got my whole job set up, like, yeah, that looks all normal. Hit this, and it then says, it warns you every time you do this. It warns you. You're like, hey, listen, you're gonna make the destination drive is going to be an exact copy of the source drive. We are going to overwrite the destination of this job. Are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. I'm a computer expert. I know what I'm doing. Click. Boom. Okay. So then I leave. Get back from the trip. Fire up the iMac and open up iPhotos or photos on the Mac because I want to download the 1,500 photos I took while on the trip. And my library only has photos to like June of 2022 on my iMac. And I'm like, that's weird. That's fine. Because they're all in iCloud, they will copy down. So it brings down and it takes a while and they all copy. And I'm like, that's really weird, but whatever. I don't, whatever. Can't explain that. And then I go to do something else. And then I realize, wait a minute. Why are those files missing? And then I open up my backup program and somehow, because it's supposed to retain the settings, when you open it up, it tells you what you did the last time and it remembers. And I don't know what happened, but instead of copying from Prime to backup, I copied backup to Prime. So I'm telling you, the arrows are tricky. And when I look at the backup drive, the last time I backed it up, it had been a while. The last time I had taken a backup was June of 2022. Hence my photo problem. Hence every file that I had put on my backup drive from June of 2022 until October 4th of 2023 had now been erased. I was not pleased with myself. Good news, it is all backed up to an online backup service. I started to download it, and it was like, there's a lot of stuff you got to download. They offer a service where you can pay, and they will ship you a USB drive with all of your stuff on it. And if you return it within 30 days, you don't pay for the USB drive. You get a refund on it. So I ordered one of those. Good thing I don't need it to record this show because I ordered it on Thursday. It is now Wednesday night, and they are still, quote unquote, preparing the drive. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, I have all my data. This is why you have multiple backups. I do need to figure out a few things. and understand when stuff got erased and when I put things. For instance, the audio recordings of Ragbri got erased. The video from Ragbri got erased.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all back. That part I re-downloaded.
Okay.
It again. Why would you need like 3 backup systems? Well, because I'm a freaking idiot. Anyway, here's what I learned. 2 things. 1, arrows are tricky. They will get you. They're out to get you. Pay attention to the arrows in and out. You think you know what's going to happen. Slow down. Look at the arrows. Number 2, it's entirely possible I shouldn't be in charge of large amounts of enterprise data anymore. But that's not a problem, right?
Hopefully no one at your office listens to this.
Hopefully.
Hi, Jesse. So are you telling me, just to be clear,
Yeah.
you were dealing with Prime and you basically had a whole bunch of stuff stolen while you were gone?
No.
Because UCLA ought to be reimbursing you for that.
No. I had a Prime and I got over cocky and overconfident, and I couldn't deliver what I promised. But that's okay because my backups that I thought I got rid of came back to haunt me.
It's not the first time this year that that's happened. Music is Happy Boy by Kevin MacLeod. You can subscribe to our award-winning podcast with visiting Scholar Todd Friends wherever you get your pods. Just search Talkin' and the number 2, no G, no space. You can check out our award-winning merch on Zazzle. You can leave us a voicemail. You know how to do that. Or you can stop by and see us at the Tuba City home office. Please don't do that. If you're in the greater Chicago area, you can check out our Naperville drains or maybe coming to a Dallas Center drain near you. Who knows? Thanks to our listeners and our sponsors, Toddler 3187, the Taylor Center for Technology Policy, and DJ to Go Cedar Valley, your 5-star DJ in the Cedar Valley. As always, send us your feedback. We love your feedback. Send it to feedback@talkingtotodd.com.
I was just looking to, I just did a quick search. Can you survive jumping off a stagecoach? I'm just wondering like what the average speed of a stagecoach is and like how much that would hurt. Apparently there's not a lot of stagecoach content on the main web. There are other questions. Will I survive jumping off a 2-story building, a 17-story building, a 6-story building? Will I survive jumping off a freight train? Will I survive jumping off a low bridge? Will I survive jumping off a high bridge? However, there are nobody has answered the question, will I survive jumping off a stagecoach? So instead of that, I think the only question is, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. It's not a problem. The only question I have at this point is, will you bounce?
I'm not sure this podcast can handle 2 35-year callbacks in the same episode.
Deep cut.
Deep
cut.
Deep. But Christmas is coming. If you want an explanation, tune in next week. We'll be back. We're here. We're talking to Todd. I totally thought the callback at the end was going to be something different.
I did too, but I couldn't remember what I said I was going to get you information at the end. And so I panicked and then came up with this. And that was a long road to a high school callback. By the way, do you remember what I was supposed to even get you for the date for that?
I don't know, but I will when I do the edit.
Hey, good news. Might have some follow-up for next week. Content. Content gets content. So does a bad memory.